Our top focus in this edition, the protests in Gwadar have been going on for over a month. After 30 days of thousands taking to the streets, now the protests have finally been called off. The government claims to have accepted all the demands that were raised, saying that the demands will be implemented in a month. It is a story that the world has been ignoring. WION is the only international channel to get you the latest on the Gwadar protests. What exactly have been the demands that have been raised by the protesters? The people of Gwadar have 19 demands to be precise, including the demand for jobs in major projects and getting rid of humiliating checkposts. But the most important demand has been the elimination of fishing trawlers. Other demands including clean drinking water, access to electricity, lifting of the restrictions on trade with Iran. The protests have been led by Maulana Hidayatur Rahman, a local leader of the Jamaat-e-Islami. The Jamaat-e-Islami was once an ally of the Pakistan military, but now they have changed sides. It was a protest for basic amenities. Balochistan is one of the poorest provinces in Pakistan. It is rich in resources, but the people there are neglected. For years, it has been experiencing a disappointing growth rate, widespread poverty and bad governance. Balochistan's GDP is $8.3 billion. It is the only Pakistani province where the GDP has declined since 1999. Beijing has been pouring in money and building infrastructure, but none of this for the people of Gwadar. They are not even getting any jobs, in fact. Gwadar is the crown jewel of the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, or CPEC. Currently, Gwadar is the embodiment of a security state, which is why it has prompted one of the biggest protests in Balochistan's history, one that the Imran Khan government could no longer ignore. Our correspondent Anas Malik, who has been tracking all those developments, is now with us on the phone line from Islamabad. Anas, tell us more about what the government has stated at this point.
Well, Molly, an 11-pointer deal has been, or an agreement has been reached between the protesters and the Balochistan government. On behalf of the protesters, Maulana Hidayatur Rahman, the leader of this protest, has signed, whereas on behalf of the government, the Balochistan chief minister has signed, and they have in principle agreed to ensure the 12 nautical mile limit with regards to the fishing trawlers not being allowed, number one. Number two, the solving of border issues within a month's time frame. Then the unessential checkposts, they will be eliminated, and then onwards the other demands, including that of removal of wine shops within the country, within the area, to ensure that none of the participants is subjected to any police action or any governmental action. That is there also in the demands as well. The Maulana Hidayatur Rahman has announced and called off the sit-in. He's also gone on to say that in case if the government does not abide by its part of the deal, then he will be marching with thousands to Quetta. Molly?
Right. And what about the elimination of the fishing trawlers specifically, Anas, because that has been one of the primary demands that have been raised by the protesters?
Well, with regards to that, the assistant director of fisheries has been transferred, and that in case if any trawler is found in the limits of Pasni, Odmara and Las Vela, then action would be taken against the person who has authorized that trawler. Additionally, a monitoring committee will be formed with regards to that, and a joint patrolling committee will also be formed, which would have fishermen in it. Whereas the limit of which basically barred trawlers to fish in the 12 nautical mile area, that would be implemented so that fishermen can go out in the sea and fish and earn their livelihood. Molly?
Anas Malik getting us those details. Thanks very much for the moment. We'll, of course, keep a close eye on those developments. WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.